In the high desert of Albuquerque, New Mexico, there is a place where silence feels unnatural. A vast stretch of land known as the West Mesa. Flat, empty, and seemingly lifeless. For years, people drove past it without a second thought. No one knew that beneath this desert soil rested one of the most disturbing secrets in American true crime history. This is the story of the West Mesa Bone Collector, a case that remains one of the most chilling unsolved serial murder investigations in the United States. Here on Dark Files USA, we uncover the stories buried beneath time, silence, and sand. In February 2009, a woman walking her dog near the West Mesa noticed something unusual protruding from the ground. At first glance, it looked like trash. But when police arrived and began digging, they uncovered human bones. That discovery triggered one of the largest forensic excavations in New Mexico history. As days turned into weeks, investigators unearthed a horrifying truth. This was not a single grave. It was a mass burial site. By the time the excavation ended, authorities had recovered the remains of 11 women and 1 unborn child. Each body was buried in a shallow grave, carefully placed. There was no sign of panic or haste. Investigators immediately suspected the work of a serial killer. The site soon became known nationwide as the West Mesa Bone Collector location, a name that would haunt Albuquerque for years. The victims ranged in age from 15 to 32 years old. Most had vanished between 2001 and 2005. Many were women living on the margins of society, struggling with poverty, addiction, or unstable living conditions. Several had been reported missing. Some had barely received media attention. For years, their disappearances seemed unrelated, until the desert connected them forever. As forensic experts analyzed the site, disturbing similarities became clear. The bodies were buried close together, placed in similar positions, missing personal belongings, covered just enough to avoid discovery. This was not random dumping. This was organized behavior. Investigators believed the killer was calm, deliberate, and familiar with the terrain. Someone who felt safe returning to the same place again and again. One of the most chilling aspects of the West Mesa Bone Collector case is how long the murders went unnoticed. The victims belonged to groups often overlooked. The killer likely knew. Their disappearances wouldn't trigger immediate alarm. Reports would receive limited attention. Time would erase evidence. This was not just violence. It was calculated exploitation. Investigators believe the murders occurred over at least 4 years. That means for years, a serial killer was active in Albuquerque. Women were vanishing, and no one knew a massed grave was growing beneath the desert. By the time the site was discovered in 2009, the trail had already gone cold. Time became the killer's greatest ally. Due to environmental exposure, no definitive cause of death could be determined. No murder weapon was recovered. DNA evidence was limited. Without these critical details, prosecutors had nothing solid to build a case. The desert had erased most of the truth. Over the years, several suspects emerged. One name appeared repeatedly: Lorenzo Montoya, a violent offender who lived near the burial site and died in 2006. Many believed he fit the profile. But despite extensive investigation, police never found enough evidence to charge him. Other suspects came and went. Every lead ended the same way, with unanswered questions. What makes the West Mesa Bone Collector so terrifying is that the killer remains faceless. No confirmed identity. No arrest. No confession. The person responsible blended into everyday life, working, driving, living normally, and no one knows where he went. Despite national attention, the case slowly faded. Why? Because physical evidence was limited. Witnesses were scarce. Time destroyed crucial clues. Without new forensic technology or witness testimony, the investigation stalled. The West Mesa murders officially became a cold case. For the families, the case never ended. Some waited years just to learn the fate of their loved ones. Others still wait. For justice. They know someone did this. They know the killer walked free. And that knowledge is a life sentence of its own. This question continues to haunt investigators. Did the killer move to another state? Get arrested for a different crime? Or simply stop killing? There are no answers. Only theories. And silence. Today, the West Mesa looks peaceful. No markers. No fences. No warnings. Just open land beneath the New Mexico sky. But locals remember. Because some places never forget. The West Mesa Bone Collector is not just an unsolved case. It is a reminder of who gets protected, of who gets ignored, and of how silence can hide evil. Here on Dark Files USA, we tell these stories, so they are not forgotten. Because the darkest files are never truly closed. They are only waiting to be reopened.